had discovered a newborn Emily under a bench in Regent's Park. Emily had taken the shivering tiny puppy and hid him in her coat. By some miracle, she had managed to keep him hidden until he'd gotten too big for the attic, then too big to slip through the fence. But even after she'd taken Archie outside the gate, he hadn't abandoned her. He came back every night, even when there was no food to share several evenings in a row. Archie did his best to lick away any final crumbs on her hands, his slippery pink tongue darting between her fingers to grab every last morsel. "Good boy," she murmured softly, stroking his neck and looping around to scratch under his chin. Archie's soft brown eyes grew sleepy and content as he enjoyed her touch, until Emily finally had to pull away. "I'll be back tomorrow," she told him, as she did every night. Reluctantly, and with one final look at the dog she'd raised since he was a little pup, Emily ducked under the hedges and crawled through the bushes of rhododendrons, their strong scent tickling her nose. Praying she wouldn't sneeze, Emily scrambled to her feet and stuck to the shadowy corners of the grounds until she came to the back door. It was ajar and creaked loudly on its rusty hinges. She was confident, though, that no one would hear. It was just before curfew, around the time when the groundskeeper, Mr. Duford, would be having a special drink, as he liked to call it, in the scullery. Emily didn't say anything about his drink, and he didn't say a word about her using the back door so late. It was an unspoken mutual understanding between them. She took the stairs 2 at a time and hurried down the hall, avoiding the floorboards that made the most noise, and finally slipped into the dormitory that she shared with 5 other girls. "You're in trouble," came a sing-song voice from the farthest bed next to the window. Emily shut the door behind her, nerves spiking as she whirled around, and found her second least favorite person sitting on her bed. Lying on her stomach, feet in the air, Agatha wore a smug smile on her face. "Get off my bed," Emily snapped. "Miss Evanshire already came for the head count, and you weren't in your bed." Emily's stomach shriveled and dropped like a stone. "But she's early," Emily protested, as if this fact alone were reason enough that she shouldn't be punished for being out of bed at night. Agatha raised her eyebrow at the stupidity of the declaration, knowing as well as Emily, and as well as any other girl at the orphanage, that this meant absolutely nothing. "She said she didn't care if you were eaten by rats or taken away by Spring-Heeled Jack," Agatha said, her lips curling into an even bigger, crueler smile. Emily recoiled at the mention of the slender half-devil, half-man who was said to roam the streets of London, frightening innocent young women. The very idea of being anywhere near the awful creature with red eyes, who could leap over 9-foot-tall fences, was utterly terrifying. Miss Evanshire's heartlessness, on the other hand, wasn't at all surprising. Out of all the girls, Emily was the one who the old woman hated most. She was sure of it. Little Mary, one of the youngest girls, sidled up to Emily, tugging on Emily's sleeve. "She came early to tell us a couple would be coming tomorrow," Mary informed, her green eyes wide and bright. "She said they want to adopt a girl as soon as possible." Emily wanted to be as excited and as hopeful as Mary, but she'd long since stopped hoping or dreaming of being adopted. After 12 years in the orphanage, watching couples come and go, taking the prettiest girls with soft curls and big blue eyes, Emily had simply stopped expecting a different, more beautiful life. She knew her future lay in a workhouse. In only a couple short years, she'd leave her little bed in this dank dormitory for an even worse bed in an even drearier room. Bruises, burns, and an empty belly would be her only proof of a long and endless day of work. In fact, her imagination would be all she'd have to keep her mind from going loopy from exhaustion and a never-ending ache in her bones. But Emily refused to instill in the younger, newer girls the same sense of hopelessness she had, or the same acceptance, so she smiled and played.